The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Making friends as an adult is a real bitch. Sometimes you take what you can get, but don't be too weird, or as Amber and Scott discuss, it can be easy come, easy go. Now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
That was uncomfortable.
We had a very awkward main character in that film, didn't we?
That is putting it lightly.
All right, boys and girls, this episode we are talking about the film Friendship. Suburban dad Craig has his life turned upside down by the arrival of a new neighbor. As Craig's attempts to make an adult male friend spiral out of control, their blossoming relationship threatens to ruin both of their lives.
This is why I don't make male friends.
Yes.
They might try to drag your ass down to an aqueduct.
That's why? Is that why you don't make male friends?
It's one of them.
Okay. This film, I don't know how to describe how I feel about it. First of all, I thought it would be funnier. That said, everyone laughed about 89% more than I did.
Yes, baby, the Burbank experience.
Yes,
We
Burbank
have-
audiences are weird.
We have learned that on weekends at Burbank,
It's like
if it's an even remotely comedic movie, you're going to have a lot of laughter all the time.
It's like they all took a hit before they came into the theater. Like, anyway.
I mean,
so
I actually didn't mind it so much.
I didn't find it annoying. I was just like, why are you laughing at that? That's just not funny.
Well, I mean, I actually did think a lot of the things I thought were funny. And in a way, it kind of reinforced things that I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then I hear everyone laughing. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to find that funny.
So you are who laugh tracks on sitcoms are aimed at.
Yes, 100%. I mean, it has been proven that laugh tracks absolutely work.
Well,
I mean, it's been proven.
I mean, they're an antiquated system that basically said, hey, this crap isn't funny, but we're going to tell you what should be funny so you know to laugh now or to be amused now.
Well, yes, but they've done experiments where they've had two control groups. One.
Why do you know this?
One where it's just the show, and the other one's the show with the laugh track on it. And the one with the laugh track always gets a much more positive viewpoint from the control group than the one without the laugh track, like without exception.
I mean, no one's vouching for the intelligence of what this control group is. But let's go ahead and talk about the film that we're dealing with today. So there are so many what would you do here's. I don't know where to start, but I guess the overarching what would you do is you're a guy who's married, who has, I wasn't clear, is it one son or two sons? Because sometimes there was one guy and sometimes there was two. I wasn't really sure. Maybe a son. And you don't have any male friends, and you somehow have this chance encounter with a neighbor who's friendly with you and basically says, hey, we should do something, and then calls you to do something. And you are so socially awkward that sometimes you are inappropriately angry over things that it's just like, whoa. It was a strange film because obviously exploring the concept of men finding adult male friends, and then what happens when it's not a match and they're like, I'm good, we don't need to hang out anymore. Have you ever been in a situation like that? Although I know you mostly gravitate toward female friends.
I do. Not as bluntly as it got put, but I mean, blunt was required in this situation. He had to, because he wasn't catching a hint. That's for damn sure.
Oh, you mean when Austin said he didn't want to be friends with him anymore?
I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
I think that our main character, Craig, was so blown away that someone cool would want to be his friend, and that immediately brought him into the fold of his friend group. And for the first time, he was feeling really good. And then he did an awkward thing and he made it more awkward. And then they were like, oh, yeah, no, this guy's got to go.
Yeah, he was just a giant bundle of awkward.
He was. And the thing that I found peculiar with that bundle of awkward is, again, what I mentioned a moment ago of how incredibly angry he would get over some things. Like when, he sank in some mud when they're in the woods and every little curse word and screaming and yelling. And sometimes there were several things throughout the film where something happened and his reaction was so over the top extreme for what had happened. But
as a reminder, I am not in any way, shape, or form a doctor. That said, I think he was probably borderline.
Okay.
I mean, from what I know of borderline personality disorder, that's because it wasn't like it was some traits of autism, but it wasn't autism. It definitely was not autism. I think it was borderline personality disorder, which that is something that you'll see in people like that.
So you said yes a moment ago when I said, have you ever been in a similar situation?
No, I have told friends in the past, like, I'm done with you. It mostly had to do with Trump, but
okay? So existing friends, but for the sake of this, we're talking about new friends. Have you ever either had someone come into your friend group that wasn't a match, or been integrated into someone's friend group where then you got shown the curb?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean.
So, but what would you do if you were Craig?
This was the bromance version of falling head over heels. He was freaking all in real fast, and that was.
Well, Craig was all in real fast because Austin immediately was like, hey, you're a great guy. We should hang out. And he made him feel like it was safe to... Austin made Craig feel like it was safe to want more of this friendship. And he was successful, and Craig wanted more of it even after... he basically gotten broken up with. So one of the particulars in the film was Craig at one point wants to relive one of these adventures he had with Austin, which is going into the aqueducts underneath the city in the sewer systems. And he takes his wife for an adventure down there. And long story short, he loses her in the sewers, and she's gone in the sewers for at a minimum of a day. I'm not quite sure, maybe a day or two.
I have some theories on this, things that were never brought up in the movie. So I am completely hypothesizing on this one, but I don't think somebody just gets lost in the sewer.
Oh, they run away. She ran away.
Yeah. She ran away and she went to hang with
Devin, the ex-boyfriend that somehow she still seems...
Devin Pinto. Is Pinto, was that him?
I think there might have been a couple people. It was strange.
Yeah, it was weird with the Devin Pinto or the Pinto thing.
Yeah.
At the thing, I was like, hang on, is this a dream? Like, what's going on here? Yeah, she ran away and she hung out with him for a little while.
That's certainly possible.
And that's how she found her orgasm.
So anyway, back to the what would you do? If you were in an aqueduct or a sewer system with somebody and you couldn't find them and you somehow lost them, what would you do?
I mean,
yes.
Find my phone. I use technology.
Okay. Suppose you can't get a signal down there. What do you do?
I'm going to look for a while. And then I'm probably just going to go back to the car and just sit there. If I feel like I've really searched, I mean not 5 minutes.
I am never going into a sewer system or aqueduct with you.
Okay, well, don't run away from me. We'll be fine.
Well, it's dark and twisty. It's entirely possible someone could get lost, and I guess you're just going to hang out in your car watching games.
Yeah, no,
or playing games.
No, it's not quite that simple, but
okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm just not going to lose you in the first place.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, that's just and if I'm Craig,
awkward Craig, yeah,
I'm getting a waterproof or at least water-resistant phone. He dropped several just in the water, and he's like, "Oops, my phone's dead now." Apparently.
Oh, he didn't say oops. He said every cuss word in the book, screaming like the thing I'm talking about earlier. When anything bad happened, he just like, blah, 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 so over the top. Now, I understand if you drop your phone in some sort of marsh or whatever, you wouldn't be happy. That's probably the more legitimate screaming of he did. But no, he definitely didn't say oops. He went off every time he did anything that it was upsetting. Heck, he got some mud on the bottom of his pants and went on a tirade.
Oh, I guess Ocean View Bros or whatever gets more money from me.
Ocean View Dining was the name of
Ocean
the
View
clothing
Dining?
company. Yes.
Oh, Ocean View Dining gets more money from me.
That's compelling.
That mailman sucked.
Okay, I feel that you're going through your list because you're just
I'm
randomly
not
bringing up
just
things
going
here.
through my list. You don't need to tell me what I'm doing. The mailman sucked. He delivered 3 packages to the wrong address, always to the same wrong address.
Yeah, well, sometimes mail people are busy, or like in an episode of Seinfeld where I always tell you everything's an episode of Seinfeld or Friends, sometimes they just pay someone to deliver packages for them or stash them away and they get delivered later. You don't know.
I did
Postal carriers have their own secret lives.
I did have a roommate who was a postal carrier.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I remember.
So, okay, so what would you do? You are in a garage hanging with your new bros.
Oh, the garage of the house. Okay.
You've just knocked out your new BFF because you're socially awkward and inappropriate and don't know what the right thing to do is in situations.
Yeah, and I kind of sucker punch him. Yeah.
What would you do at that point?
Okay, so obviously this is the scene where Craig takes 2 hits from Austin as they're kind of play boxing, and Austin gets in 2 hits to the face with Craig, and then when they agree to, like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore, Craig then hits Austin twice and knocks him over. So, yeah. Craig at that point taking a bar of soap, putting it in his mouth and saying, I'm a bad boy, I'm a very bad boy. Oh,
What the actual hell was that?
Yeah, a grown man pretending to be a child in trouble with soap in his mouth, and he kept making it worse with everything. So what would I do if... See, and this is actually something I can more relate to, of something you want to do, and then you do something, and you're like, oh, that didn't turn out the way I wanted, or, oh, I wish I could take that back. Like, I've felt like that, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that feeling. I would immediately apologize profusely. I obviously would not grab a bar of soap and stick it in my mouth and pretend I was a little child. But I would say, oh my gosh, I just got caught up in the moment. I don't know what I was thinking. Are you okay? What do you need? It was sad to see in a split second of just bad judgment on top of bad judgment to see that relationship sour. And that's obviously when Craig got removed from the good graces of the group.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty much right along those same lines. You're like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I just kind of lost my shit there for a moment, and I don't know what the hell that was. I am so freaking sorry. I think the two shots to the head I took scrambled my brain a little bit. So
yeah, that was uncomfortable. And the part about this film that was just a continuing theme is Craig lit up when he saw Austin. Like, it had to have been the highlight of his life to have basically the cool kid like him and include him, and to have a taste of that and then be shut out, I think was the part that was hardest for him. And I'm sure most people can relate to something similar growing up, where there's a clique that you want to be a part of, or heck, there are so many films based on the let's play a trick on the dorky kid and pretend that we like him or her, invite him to our lunch table or our party, and then do something to make fun of them. Now, obviously, Austin and his friends didn't intentionally make fun of Craig. Craig took
kinda,
care of making fun of him.
He did it just fine.
Not even intentionally making fun of himself, but just kind of making himself.
He was so insanely awkward.
So here's my other, what would you do? If you were Tammy, Craig's wife, why did you marry Craig? Why?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what she saw, and
what happened there.
But I feel like she had just straight up given up on that marriage. Like, you could tell, like, she was basically having an affair out in the open. I'm going to meet up with my ex-boyfriend for drinks, but Like, she just said and did things that were like, yeah, she's definitely fucking him.
The ex-boyfriend. Yeah, I mean, I had mixed emotions about that. And because on one hand, you're like, why is she with him? Why is she almost flaunting this ex-boyfriend in her husband's face? But then also, too, she'd say stuff and he clearly didn't listen to her.
Well,
and when she got lost in the aqueducts in the sewers, he still went to work. And when they had a welcome back party for her, he kind of made it mostly about him and did a terrible job of acknowledging her and what she had been through. So he was kind of a terrible husband.
I mean, he definitely married up.
He did, but I don't think she was any great catch either.
I mean, I'm just saying.
She wasn't likable.
I think
I don't think anyone was really likable in this film.
I think he was like, you know what? I'm not finding anyone else. So even if she's screwing around on me, I'm going to hang on to what I've got.
So what would you do if you were looking for a drug-related escape and someone gave you a choice of a lot of drugs and one of them was to lick a psychedelic toad?
I'm not licking the toad.
Okay.
Ew.
You know me. I'm liberating the toad.
What?
I'm liberating the toad. I'm waiting till the teenage drug dealer leaves the room and I'm taking the toad in the box
you're
and
not.
I'm liberating
You're
it.
not even going to be there with the teenage drug dealer to begin with. I mean, I don't think I would either.
If I
but
knew there was a toad that needed help escaping, I could play my role.
how bad do you feel for Craig that his trip was going to Subway?
Yeah. What would you do if you were looking for an escape you're
$100 trip was just him in the process of ordering a sandwich from Subway.
It definitely seems like Subway threw some promotional money at that film.
No, you think? So what would you do? It is the second package now that has been misdelivered, and you are going over to give it to them, and it appears as though no one is home.
Yeah, no, I certainly wouldn't climb the fence and go in the sliding glass door that I broke and continue to rifle through their house and sit on their couch and sit at the desk and open drawers and open a gun box and then handle a gun and then mindlessly walk off with the gun. I would not do that.
Mind you,
I would not do that.
all while he was waiting for a
conference call it for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would I do? Oh, I don't know. I'd do the normal thing and leave the package by the door and send a picture. Or, because at that point, I think he had his contact information. So I'd send a picture. Hey, left a package on your doorstep. Because that's the normal thing to do.
Yeah, I wanted to note what you wouldn't do is you actually would not put it in the mailbox.
Oh, yeah. It's a federal crime.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know if I told you, like, when I worked census, if we had to leave notices, which we always did, we were basically told, leave them wherever you think that the people will actually see it, except the mailbox.
Yeah, I don't know how I know that. I've known that for a very, very, very long time. Also, I think I actually picked that up when I was leafleting for some event.
I'd also like to note that that's one of the reasons I keep security cameras in the house. So you don't have to wonder whether or not somebody broke in. You just have security cameras that watch someone break in.
That's great. Or we also have all kinds of security systems that call people and armed militia to come and get you if you break into our house. So don't even try.
Yes. Militia. Yeah. So what would you do if you are at this party and you're out playing the drums and the guy walks in and is like, aren't you the husband? And then he just goes completely effing psycho on him. Like, that was the one time I actually felt bad for Craig. Because he's just out there doing his damn drums. Like, he's staying away from it. And
so
this dude,
what would you do?
Well, how would you handle that situation? This guy's come in and he's like, you're a piece of and
oh, yeah. So some guy comes into the garage and is making small talk with Craig and basically says Craig wasn't concerned enough about his wife, and his wife is beautiful and amazing, and he's a big piece of garbage. I don't know. I think Craig deserved it. I mean, what would I do if I was Craig? Obviously, I would tell the person to get out of my garage and get out of my house. But Craig just kind of threw his normal fit and said, get out of here, get out of here. And the guy promptly went back to the party and made all kinds of toasts towards Craig's wife. But, I mean, anytime you invite someone into your home, you have to know where your boundaries are of what you're going to accept in your own home.
Yeah, exactly. I've always had rules about the way I will talk to people in their own home. Like, it can be someone I freaking hate, but like,
if you're in someone else's home, you have to have a certain amount of etiquette and demeanor.
Yeah, decorum. You just like, listen, you're on their turf. It's their rules. It's whatever is theirs, and that's just the way it should work.
So that brings up one last, what would you do for me, is there is a scene where Craig and Tammy and their son are out to dinner, and a guy behind Tammy sits down and he knocks Tammy's chair while she's eating. And Craig, who's trying to win Tammy back in a moment of chivalry, basically calls out the guy and says, hey, you bumped this lovely lady while she was eating. You owe her an apology.
Chivalry, stupidity, maybe the same. No, I mean, I wouldn't do that. I mean, listen, like, people will bump into each other on accident. It is generally, I feel like in general, like, it's regarded that if I bumped into you, I'm sorry I bumped into you. I didn't mean to. I might just move on at that point to not cause a scene. But also, apparently, 3 guys who'd spent time in Afghanistan. I still wonder if that was the SEAL members of the SEAL team.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that.
Yeah, I don't know. So my last, what would you do, is you're trying to win Tammy back, and you've lost your job, so you don't have income. Would you buy Tammy a van? Because she's been talking the whole movie about how she needs a bigger car, and now he goes and spends money on a van.
I mean, it's a Hail Mary to try and get his wife back, which gets in her good graces for an evening until he then falls victim to wanting to be besties with Austin, and it all goes off the rails yet again. So
I would actually be interested to see have a psychologist watch that movie and see what they diagnose Craig as, because I'm just curious if I'm correct with borderline or if there's some other disorder. I mean, he clearly had a disorder of some form. That was not normal.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they certainly didn't allude to any of that. But what would I do? I mean, actually, you can take this broader, is what would you do if you had a spouse that had left the family home and was shacking up supposedly in the guest house of an ex-boyfriend's property? And what would you do to get that person back? Would you buy them something expensive in an attempt to make them feel seen and appreciated? What would you do?
It depends on the person. I mean, it really does. Like, if it were you, I wouldn't, because I know that would not be what you wanted me to do.
No, I'll take your car. You can buy me a car.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Actually, I could use a car. Give me a car.
Okay, well, there we go. I would buy you a car.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.